or out the blue rock earth until you, which they say are born again. And born again of what do they say? Of the body of the spirit. Of the spirit. Y'all must be born again of the spirit. You must be transformed from being this mortal being who is destined to die back to immortality. You follow? You must become a supreme being again in order to be worthy of intergalactical traveling again. So now what has happened, the devil's seed is in the earth, mixing in with the God seed as you have it, and it's keeping you all bound to the planet and creating new dogmas every day, new deviations from the fundamental truth and calling it religions and sects and all different types of denominations, Sunni, Shia, Ahmadiyya, Bilalian, Black, Muslims, Hindu, Buddhists, and just creating new dogmas to keep you from seeing the straight, the Sirat al-Mustaqim, as they call it, the Sirat al-Mustaqim, the straight way of those who made the pathway through the galaxy.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is big.
When they say the Quran has been on Sirat al-Mustaqim, Sirat al-Ladhina an'amta alayhim, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين, they're telling you, I want to be guided and been on Sirat al-Mustaqim. I want to be guided that way. I want to get back out of here. Sirat al-Ladhina an'amta alayhim. You know that Sirat of those who you are giving your grace, Allah Ta'ala. I don't want to be like those people who got the everlasting curse, who's damned to this earth forever. What a darling.
Well, about more, so I have to prep to chant at 9, so I will be returning with another class from the Master Teacher, Dr. York. I'm a newbie Rafta, Pana Bev Yananan. But just give me some time. I will go live again later after chant, and I'll have I'll put up another video from the Master Teacher. But with that being said, I hope that while I do, I'll see y'all later.
Deviated off that path that was leading from Malakut to Nassau and went somewhere else. Or as they translate in modern times, have left the path of Deen al-Islam and went into other denominations of thought. And you deviate from the path of Deen al-Islam when you deviate from the path of Millah Ibrahim, when you deviate from the religion that Allah Ta'ala gave to the Prophet Adam, which was the way you should work your way back to Jannah to Eden, back out of this flame and back into Malakut, the domain of angelic beings from which most of you have come. But some people here have made an everlasting pact with Azazillah, this being who ruled, who tried to overthrow Mikael in Malakut prior to the birth of your planet. As a result of that, was cast down. Some mortals have succumbed to him and begin to worship him in a subtle kind of way. One of his names is God. And they have taken and called Allah God and Jehovah God and Al-Akhir, etc., etc., etc. You follow? So you just happen to touch on a very sensitive subject. And, you know, I am here to try to bring you all back to that teaching. But I got to start with what you understand. I got to start giving you what you think you want so you learn how to think on the level of what I have to give, or what you know you need. But I can't stop by pouring out. I've been teaching for 20 years on earth, in and out, visiting in and out of here. Different beings speak to you at different times through me, trying to answer all of your questions to prepare you for the real knowledge, the real information that you have to have after you get through wobbling in how great you are and how you got here and how you're Abraham and your Peter and your this. When you finish all that ego tripping, then I can get down and teaching you the truth about things and prepare those who are supposed to leave here, to prepare so when the ship does come, they can go. You follow? And I know that sounds crazy, but he wants to make me sound crazy. That's why he made movies like Star Trek, because he knew this knowledge. The devil, Iblis, he knows these things. And that's why he saturates the television with about a bunch of things like fiction, so that when the final truth comes, I say, your whole concept of religion in the Bible is wrong. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're talking about intergalactical beings, you're not talking about angels. You're talking about the ultimate source of all existence. You're not talking about God and Jehovah. Those are just expressions. When you say Allah, you're saying El-Hur, Yahoo, O-T who is. And you cannot define it while still confined to this prison called the physical body on earth. Alright?
You have listening to the unshakable guidance and teachings of Sayyid al-Imam Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi, the undisputed man of our times. We will continue with true light after this chant.
Water religion. You know what I mean by water religion? When they dip you in some water and say you're baptized, or you go to Mecca and then say I'm a Muslim, where it's just a physical aspect of the deed. It's amazing that y'all are now probing into the esoteric part of your existence and trying to get a better understanding of the real you and not this synthetic you that you call your body. It's a wonderful day.
El-Hadi, I want to ask a question.
First of all, wait, let me correct him. El-Hadi is my father's name.
No.
Okay.
What is it this meant? Lately, I've been getting a flash in front of me, the white fog, like I'll be standing or I'll be in a certain place and I see a white, like a white, like a
White mist.
A mist, yeah. I didn't know that.
Because I know what it is.
A mist in front of me, and it just comes and it stays there for a second. Then it goes. Then I can move, and I go to another place, and my mind just be, I don't be thinking about anything in particular. All of a sudden, it flashes in front of me, but I can't really, figure out.
You haven't see the thing is you're looking at beings who are here in the Earth's atmosphere trying to reverse the negative flow of current that's here. Okay? You can't assimilate them because you haven't developed the inner part of you. You're developing. But you have not developed the inner part of you to be able to focus on them and take shape the way you do physical things. Meaning, human beings are under the impression that when they look at something, they really see it, and they don't. Anything you look at, if you look at the guy's head in front of you, you are looking at a reflection of light to the brain. You're not looking at the object. You follow that? You're looking out at something, it reflects back into the brain, and then you decipher its color, its shape, its form, its size, etc. Okay? You have not been able to do that yet with the spiritual world. Sometimes the beings will personify for you, or incarnate for you, but now you have to learn how to incarnate them, and then you will see them, and they'll get in your way. Because you'll find an abundance of beings surrounding this earth plane, trying from different galaxies to keep you people from being destroyed by the cherubim. And we're trying to wake you up soon enough to get you back Earth. It seems almost impossible. So many people have learned to love the cherubim as opposed to the seraphim. Okay?
Well, why the people of Soul Earth, why, why would we allow ourselves to, why are we in this condition? Why can't what's in us, the inner being, be brought forth, and the greatness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put upon us? Our ancestors, these are things that our ancestors did, and we are the children, our children's children.
No. Your ancestors, let me correct you, your ancestors were also being visited by beings to try to help them, because in the realm that they were in, they had their degree of devilishment also. You follow? Lot, don't forget Lot turned against Abraham and went down to Sodom and Gomorrah because he thought it was a better place to be. So he turned against the village of peace and went into the city of New York, to the village, and a figure of speech, and wants to live in a village with those kind of people. It's been going on for a long period of time. And beings have been trying, but see, what is long to y'all is short to us. What 6,000 years is less than a day to us. The whole information of your whole planet could be absorbed in a couple of minutes by any master. All the information of your whole planet. you're developing rapidly, much more rapidly than you're supposed to.
Recently this week, the snowstorm, was there any significance or the thunder and the lightning?
Yes. If you would read a book that I've written called the Book of Revelation 4, I explained last year to expect these things. Some of the people in the class, I told them this is the worst weather you're going to have in a long time. And what has happened is there's a clash of currents in the universe now. This is going to sound crazy again. I have to keep saying that because people think I'm nuts. I don't mind being nuts. They thought Jesus was nuts. But there's a council that meets.
Gaza is at a tipping point.
On all of the different planets that are in your solar system and outside your solar system. All right, your planet is lined up for evaluation next. So you have a lot of intergalactical traveling taking place here now. People coming in and going into the center of your planet. That's why they're saying there's so many UFO sightings all of a sudden. This is why people are turning back to the church. People are getting so spiritual all of a sudden. Everybody's talking about the Spirit and the Holy Ghost and being born again and being saved and becoming Muslim and becoming Black Jew and becoming Hindu and becoming Swami and there's a yogi this and there's a yoga that. That is the work of the masses preparing this. When that happens, the currents go out. That's why all the prophecies say the sky shall be blackened and there shall be earthquakes and storms and the moon shall turn like red, turn to a ball of fire. This is the time. There's a galactical alignment. Y'all had a photo alignment a couple of weeks ago. They didn't even tell you all that. They put it on the news after it happened. They never told you why. Because I told y'all that because there is no North Pole, every time the elders enter, the mothership comes over the North Pole, that magnetic thing, because those solar light reflections at the North Pole, those are ships coming in. And they throw your planet off. Your planet is off its axis already. It's 22.5 degrees off now. Because of ships entering into the center. In the center of the planet, there's a sun. The diameter of it is 6,000 miles. And each layer of your sun, your planet, is not a solid. You couldn't be a solid and be 6 trillion tons of weight with all the metal. This planet is not a solid, it's hollow. And in the center of it, there's another whole empire which we all refer to as Atlantis or Lemuria. All right, there's two of them. They're wet. That's a long time. I'm not going to start explaining Atlantis. But the weather is out now because there's beings coming through and they're interfering with the layers. Your ozone is thrown off now. So you're going to have abstract weather. You think it's funny now? Give it 2 more weeks to see what happens. It's going to be so cold in March, it's going to be ridiculous. Your time belt is off. Your planet is working on a time belt. Time belt means you have ticks in your time. You follow? You have been calculating the ticks, but ignoring the rest. You know anything about music? You know there's a beat and a rest, a beat and a rest. But when you're looking at your clock and the devil surely put batteries in to take out the ticks, because you were going tick, 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 tick. But in between those ticks there was a rest that you were not counting. Instead of being 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 6 seconds, you really had 26 or 27 minutes. I'm 48 minutes going at the same time. The beings that I'm thinking about, intergalactical beings, move on the rest of your time. There's a counter world, a fourth dimension. It's linked to this 3-dimensional world you're in. And when they're making communications to set up the council, which you refer to in the Bible as the 24 elders around the throne with the 4 beasts, or in Ezekiel, that same council that has been coming here since the beginning of your planet, right? When they're coming from other galaxies here to have a meeting on whether or not to let this planet destroy itself. This is what it is. You people have got to the point where you are about to destroy yourself, and they're trying to save you, it says in Revelation. What about those who have the seal of the Father on them? The Master says, hold back the rings in Revelation. Don't destroy until we get them. But you won't come. It's right in the book. Don't destroy until we get those who have the seal, but you won't come. Some of you are spiritual beings, I gotta tell you. When the sons of the Almighty came down, centuries ago, and went into the daughters of man and gave birth to what you call the Syrians or Jebarians. supernatural beings who have now mingled amongst men so well that they forgot who they are, except for that dormant feeling that keeps making them say, why does everything happen to me? Why am I different? Why am I not enjoying this party the way they are? Why do I not want to get drunk and smoke reefer like they do? Why am I sitting in church saying I don't believe that white man on that cross is Jesus? Why is something happening different? And other people in the same room are sitting there and accept anything. Because if you look at them like, how can you accept anything anybody says? Well, if you're one of those people, they'll always and say, why me? Why when they run, I'm the one that falls. If we ski, I get the broken ski. You follow? Why am I the being with all this energy? Because the devil has a concentrated effort on your destruction. Because he knows that you are Jebarian. That you're from that you're intergalactical being. You're part human and part extraterrestrial. He knows that. And you cannot, you're like Jesus said, caught up in two worlds. He said, he was having a problem. He said, my spirit is willing, it's just my flesh that is so weak. Without all these collaboration of time, the alignment of the universe, the beings coming through, is why your weather's out. And it sounds like a science fiction movie, because that's what he wants it to sound like, but it's true. I'll tell you something that'll wake you up.
Most people are too lazy to do this, but it saves homeowners a fortune.
The headache, the one-eye headache. You know what I'm talking about? If you get in that one eye, it's aggravating you, that nervous tension that you can't stop rocking your leg all of a sudden. The inconsistency with time. Like, it's Wednesday. What happened to Tuesday? Is this happening to some of you people in there? Well, that's because you are out of whack with what's going on. You're breaking his time barrier. You're not in tune no more. We are here for you, but you won't come. We can't take you back without teaching you first who you are and how you got here. I'm not talking about Abraham and Jesus. The whole Bible story we learn in a second. That's your history. You got one of the shortest histories of all everybody. We've existed for 76 trillion years. We've been incarnate in this planet for 11,500 years when we first built Atlantis here. It was mortals from the seed of the Nephilims who caused Atlantis to sink. A gap to the subterranean world which is beyond your understanding. Right now, but you've got to relearn who you are and how you got here so you can get out here and leave these mortals here. Because this planet is destined to destroy itself. And they're going to take you with them. And if your spirit is not developed far enough, you will be of premature birth. You'll be caught in the destruction of this planet.
You have been listening to The True Light, a question and answer session with Saeed al-Imam Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi. Do you want to know the truth? Can you face the truth? Be sure to read the most dynamic books in history, authored by Saeed al-Imam Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi, on such subjects as, what is a Muslim? Where is the tabernacle of the Most High? Should Muslims observe the Sabbath? Was Christ really crucified? Who was the Comforter? Now let us return to the true light with Saeed al-Imam Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi. Remember, you are the light, and you have the power over all things.
But the other thing was, if you are spiritual being, then what is your purpose here?
Mine?
Yeah, yours and any other.
Well, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher who comes to get my students and prepare y'all for the war. We've had several wars against those people before. And we've won. Every time they went somewhere else and colonized. Now they've colonized here and they've gotten you. I've got to come and separate you from them and turn you back into spiritual people so we can conquer him.
I think we have found
Which is whom you're called Satan. And prepare y'all to go back to Malakut. Malakut, what is that? There's three domains, and then there's lower and above. Nesut, Malakut, and Lahut going up. Nesut is the abode of Humain, which is what y'all are, the ones on earth. Malakut is the abode of Malakut, angelic beings, as you call them. And Lahut is the throne of the omnipotent with the seven veils. You follow? Solid, liquid, and gas. You're in solid. The angels are in liquid, and the Almighty is in a form of gas. All right? Now the liquid can become vaporized into gas or hardened into a solid. Now I'm here to turn the solid back into a liquid and then back into a gas. But they're so intermingled with the mortals here, it's hard to find who's who anymore. They're so well trained to act like the devil and live like him and want like him and love like him and lust like him, and it's hard to find the good ones from the bad ones. Now, it's quite a confusing job. When you meet people, you think they're spiritual beings, you start teaching them, and they're really physical. No physical. Total physical. And it becomes bewildering.
How would I know for myself?
You do know it for yourself. You already know if you're a spiritual being, because we're not content here. When you look up at the sky, you get despair. When they discuss UFOs, it doesn't frighten you. You want to be picked up by them. It's a difference. Other people say, not me, I'm not going to no fire corporal. And then there's another people that say, why don't I see them? You either look up at night out your window and say, why can't I see one? When I take in the congregation from this community, I think, you want me to prove you that they exist? I took hundreds of them to the mountain and said, now watch, they're going to come from that direction. And I called them and they came. And they hold it above them. They saw with their own eyes. They can call anybody crazy if they want. I love that I company in this time. I feel good. But they saw with their own eyes the ship. And I told them what to chant, and they chanted, and the ship came close, beamed light, and took off. I said, those people are waiting to take you. That was it. That's my job. And you have got to accept it before he realizes how dangerous I am, and then I'll have to leave. And many times it's been sent to you, you need to turn up into God, and you call us prophets, you got all kind of crazy names you make up, because the men here cannot follow another boy who appears to be mortal without making him some type of a deity. Because they can't see it themselves. I mean, I'm a man too, so he must be God. And then they can see themselves as or neophytes, as you would have it. Literally, they have to turn you into a God or something. But we would be gods compared to what the powers that you once had and that we have now. We would be gods compared to that. But you have the same power dormant. The same way your fingers there can play a piano. Right? Now, everybody's changed.
Never sue the other driver after a car accident. There's a better way to get paid a way bigger check without having to go to court or...
But everybody has the authority who has working fingers to play the piano. Only a piano player knows that, though. Anybody can play the thing. You already know that as a piano player, though. You understand what I'm saying?
Sometimes what happens to me is like there's this force that comes out, and it's like really bright and kind of warm, but I can't seem to control when it comes out or when it doesn't. I know that when it does come out is when I've kind of left myself or my self-consciousness, and then all of a sudden it'll be there.
Alright.
And I notice that when that happens, whatever I need to have happen, it happens.
So that's you. That's the real you. So and you want to learn to control that, you take and you put your hands in front. Everybody can do this. You put your hands in front of your face and you clap your hands until you create a hollow sound, not a slap. It's a hollow sound. Not just, hear the difference? And once you've done that, you put your hands down on your lap and say to yourself, relax and let go. And just drop. Relax and let go. And just drop. And you'll feel your body start to relax in your hands. But when you slap them, when you grow energy, to start to tingle because the blood going back into the cells. So that blood is carrying oxygen energy. And you start to feel it move to the center of your body. And that feeling can start to come out. Then you stop it. It's exercise. You don't let it go. You stop it and you have to go about your business. And you practice it a little bit every day. And you let it come out a little further each day. And then you hear the difference? Your face, and you clap your
For my self-consciousness,
energy.
for my self-consciousness, and then all of a sudden it'll be there.
All right.
And then all of a sudden it'll be there. And I notice that when that happens, whatever I need to have happen, happens.
So that's you.
Something.
And you want to learn to control that?
Right.
You take and you put your hands in front. Everybody can do this. You put your hands in front of your face and you clap your hands until you create a hollow sound, not a clap. It's a hollow sound. Not just, hear the difference? And once you've done that, you put your hands down on your lap and say to yourself, relax and let go. And just drop. Relax and let go. And just drop. And you'll feel your body start to relax in your hands. But when you slap them, when you brought energy to them, start to tingle because the blood going back into the cells. So that blood is carrying oxygen energy. And you start to feel it move to the center of your body. And that feeling can start to come out. Then you stop it. It's exercise. You don't let it go. You stop it and you get up and go about the business. And you practice it. And you want to learn to control that?
Right.
You take it a little further each day. And then you will control how well it travels and where it goes.
But I've noticed that other people can see it.
Of course they can.
But at first I thought only I could see it.
Because that's easy. Then you don't have to explain it. It's so much easier. Because when people see things, they say, hey, what's that? And then you got to say, I don't know. Like I said earlier, you don't take on the responsibility for things that you are. You refuse them. I'm not going to explain that. They just leave it alone. So you have to pursue the meaning of it in order for you to explain it. And that's, like they're bothered because you're frightened about what it might really be. But now you know it's really the essence of you. It's the higher of you, the real you. Now become familiar with it. And when you hear that high-pitched sound, it usually precedes it in your ear. And you know high-pitched sound, move your body to vibrate at that point. You understand? Usually before it'll happen, listen, you hear like a high buzzing sound above you. Right? Move your body up to that point. Sit and place yourself at a point where you have a level. Where you say, I'm at the middle. Say it to your mind, I'm at the middle or I'm at the bottom of the top. And then envision that sound above you. And pull yourself up to that point with that sound. You understand? And it can open up and you'll see a shift. First there, if they're convinced that it won't frighten you. That's also part of that fear. When that adrenaline raises, the sense of adrenaline, which is the killer instinct in human beings, will frighten angelic beings away. Because man does have a killer instinct. And that sense comes up when the adrenaline moves. And all creatures know that they're about to kill with or without reason. So even angelic beings withdraw when that fear comes out of you. When you get afraid, they move away from you. Okay?
Imam Isa, I want you to further elaborate on that word cherubim and where they came from and what their purpose here is.
You want me to or would you like me to?
Yeah, I would like you to.
Oh, thank you. Before the creation of human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created a realm called Malakut. This realm was inhabited by two races of beings that had various species. These two races were called, in your present-day language, cherubim and seraphim. They were what you refer to as angelic beings. But just like you have the two races on earth today, which came out of that, you follow? Prior to this, there was two on the spiritual plane. The ruler of this, or the Khalifa of that realm, was called Mikael, which is Melchizedek, or El-Khidr, which comes from the word Mik, to be like, Mithlik, to be like Allah. He was the angel who ruled all the archangels. Okay? And he ruled this abode called Malakut. Prior to the creation creation of Adam in the physical form. And then, certain beings within the race of the cherubim wanted to rule that domain because Michael spent so much time behind the thick veil of Lahut, which